Okay, so if you're tuning in, welcome to the Align Masterclass. I'm basically going to walk us through the steps of survival mode into alignment and then into the higher octave of co-creation, which is when you're so in tune with your unique rhythm, you're so in flow with the rhythmic symphony of creation, of God's true creation, that you trust yourself to follow your deepest desires because it is within your deepest desires that your highest path lies, okay? Because it's your higher self guiding you to your dream life so that you can begin taking these sacred strategic steps to build your dream life. And it's really all about alignment as your foundation. So everything I'm going to cover today is for you have to have a rock solid foundation of alignment for you to build upon for the rest of your life. Okay, so we're going to cover a lot today and it's going to be juicy, it's going to be fun, and then you guys are going to have tons of resources, and then we're going to go into a guided practice, and then we'll have some time for Q&A. And I'm trying to find my presentation I had over here. Let's just stop share for a second. I'm going to bring up my presentation. Bear with me, please. I just had it and now I can't find it. Let's see. Your girl, your girl loves a Canva presentation. So that's what we're going to bring up. And here we go. Let's get it. Okay, so is my screen being shared? No. Let's share that right now. Okay. And here we go. All right. So, like I said, this is the pathway. It's all about moving from the distorted rhythm, as I like to call it, into alignment and co-creation with the divine. Okay. So, I'm going to cover my sacred method of alignment that I have been working and kind of weaving together the last 8 years since my Kundalini awakening in January 2018. I had been living so out of alignment before that I just could not see a path forward for myself. I always said that it felt like there was this black wall in my mind. And I felt so much internalized anger because I couldn't figure out how to make moves in my own life that would make life feel comfortable and natural for me. Like I kept trying to fit in to an unnatural world. I kept trying to fit myself into a path. And it was so excruciatingly painful and frustrating. And I just felt like I was being dragged through life. And then I had a dark night of the soul, and then boom, here's my Kundalini awakening, right? And then I start to follow my urges, I start to follow my path. It led me to human design. I freaking sobbed when I first found human design because I just finally had the language to explain my energy, my unique energy as a manifester, my unique life path as a 5/1, and what my God-given gifts really are, and why I always felt so weird and different from everyone around me, right? So I'm just like sobbing. I finally get this permission slip to be myself and to live and work in harmony with my unique energy. Then I find the gene keys, which builds on top of the human design system. And the gene keys is so powerful for your emotional alchemy and healing your emotional centers because you finally see that everything that happened in your life that led you to feeling shame, guilt, remorse, like fear, whatever your deepest shadows are that were tied to these negative emotions, you see that you were divinely wired to experience those certain shadows. Like there's four prominent shadows that exist within each and every one of us. And within those shadows lie your greatest gifts. It's like if you dive all the way into the ugliest shadow, you will uncover your most beautiful, precious gift, and it's in your darkest, ugliest fears and shadows that is your launching off pad into higher awareness. Okay, so we need our shadows, we need the painful emotions, and it's through the lens of the gene keys that I was able to really uncover this sacred map. Okay, and that was so healing, finally, so healing. And then we discovered the therapeutic art of polarity, where I found Ayurveda nutrition, understanding your unique dosha, understand exactly how your constitution based in your lineage, your ancestry, how you're born, and then your lifestyle habits. It creates your own physical constitution, and learning what your constitution is, what your dosha type is, how to eat in alignment with your unique doshas is like the first step of reclaiming your sovereignty, okay? Once you reclaim your health, everything else falls into place. So being healthy in a society designed to keep you sick is revolutionary, and Ayurveda is an incredible map for that. And then I learned all about the Merkaba, which helped with spiritual alignment. So let's get into it. Okay, we're going to cover everything I just mentioned. I'm going to show you these different avenues for you to come into alignment, like this sacred method that you can apply to your own life to come into alignment. And then what is after that? Now you're in alignment. Okay, now how do we use the sacred strategy of co-creation using the esoteric Enneagram? And how do we ride those waves of creation? And we're going to get into it. So, really simply, alignment is when you're living in alignment with your unique rhythm, with your true self, and with God. You remember your original blueprint of health, vitality, and clarity. Okay, we're tuning out of the distorted rhythm, out of the distorted conditioning, and you're tuning back into your truth. And now your body, emotions, mind, and spirit move in harmony. And this is really the foundation for flow state and conscious co-creation. So, as you're in alignment, you start to catch flow states. Everyone catches flow states. Even when you're out of alignment, you'll still catch flow states. It's when you're so immersed in your passions that literally time, space, you just bend time and you just capture this wave that takes you on this beautiful ride of just like pouring your entire focused energy into your creations. That's flow state. But as you come into alignment, your entire existence is flow state. And all of your flow states are leading you towards creating and actualizing your soul's greatest dream. Okay, but you're not like so attached to your soul's greatest dream that you're blocking it. Okay, we're not going top down on our soul's greatest dream. You're going bottom up. You're building it brick by brick, stone by stone through each flow state. And that comes so easily when you're in alignment. So we need to come into alignment because the state of the world we're in is so distorted. And I'm going to get into exactly what I mean in a second from this language of music, okay? Because everything is music. Everything is music. I had this freaking brain blast. It happened like in 2021. I realized that everything is music. I noticed that the moment that I came into alignment and I had my Kundalini awakening, as a manifester, like the moment I had my awakening, my body naturally picks up the rhythm of every single song that I'm listening to, whether it's live music or blasting in my headphones. Like my body, without me consciously like trying to move my body and like trying to dance, it takes over my body. My body just naturally moves to the rhythm and it's like freaking beautiful. It's awesome. I love live music. I literally go out dancing. Before I was a mom, I went out dancing like multiple times a week. And in those early days of my awakening and coming into alignment, dancing is what healed me. Like I would be out dancing, my body would hook up to the rhythm, and then I would be matching my breath with each movement and having these emotional breakthroughs and insights and healing and like dissolving old loops, dissolving the looping mechanisms that were keeping me stuck in these outdated beliefs and patterns and all of the old gunk like keeping me stuck, keeping me in a prison. I would have these breakthroughs while I was dancing to the rhythm. So then I just knew it. I'm like, okay, my body is the rhythm. I am the rhythm, right? So then I'm learning human design during this time, and I start to notice my roommate in LA at the time, Nadia, she's a manifesting generator. We go out dancing. She's dancing to the beat. I'm dancing to the rhythm and I'm like, how beautiful is it that we're dancing to different parts of the same exact song? And then I noticed that my buddy Tim is a projector and he's dancing to the melody. And I'm like, this is the most beautiful thing I've ever witnessed. All of us are in alignment with our unique energy, as you know, your human design aura type. And then as you live in alignment, then you move perfectly to the certain part of music that is your embodiment, which we'll get into in a second. But I'm just trying to show you that literally everything is music. As you come into alignment, you move so beautifully to the music, and everyone is a different part of music. And it just allows you to ride these beautiful waves of life, and like everything is just this beautiful rhythmic symphony. Okay, so we're getting out of survival mode, which is disconnection, reactivity, low energy, confusion, and just being in autopilot. And then boom, you come into alignment. It's clarity, flow, inner harmony, self-trust. This is like the most important piece of this. Self-trust. Okay, all of us have to heal from a sick society that removed all of your avenues for authority, right? Like we all entered a monotonous education system at young ages that tried to stamp out our unique genius and our unique individuality, right? We were all pressed upon by the media machine. All of these ways were making it so that we lost our personal authority, right? And then as you're coming into alignment, you're reclaiming your authority and you start to trust yourself. And now you can trust that your desires are aligned with your highest path forward. And you know that everything you're doing is in alignment with who God created you to be. And then as you come into alignment, then the next higher octave of your life is this beautiful co-creation, purpose-driven action, and flow mastery. So real quick, I want to get into the distorted rhythm. I'm obsessed with talking about this. I have a full podcast episode all about the distorted rhythm. That was like from a month ago. If you want to check that out on New Earth Rhythm, that's my podcast. And my Substack, I go freaking deep on this because it makes me so angry. But that anger is my fuel to share all of this juiciness with you guys. Okay, so this might seem a little confusing if you've never heard this before, but basically everything is octaves. Energy descends from source. Source is on the octave, musical note scale is do. That is the absolute, and that is one. Like the law of one, everything is one, God is one. But then God wanted to know itself, so it split and it descended an octave towards the world of form and it split into three, and this is known as all worlds. Then it's split into six, and this is known as all suns. Okay, so that's do, si, la. Now we're in soul. It's split to 12, and this is our sun. Okay, and then it's split again. Now it's 24, and this is all planets known as fa. Then it's split again into 48, and this is Earth known as me. And then here we are getting denser and denser and denser, okay? And then the most dense energy in the entire cosmos is our moon, and it has 96 laws. Okay, and this is the embodiment of the matrix. This is the lunar matrix. This is the distorted rhythm. This is like energy is descending from source, and through each octave, it's getting more and more distorted as we move away from the pure first octave of one of do. Like as that pure source energy is descending through the realms, through the octaves, into the world of form, getting denser and denser and denser, it's getting more and more distorted due to human influence. So then all of us are born in this heavy, distorted, dense energy because that is the nature of the world that we were born into, that we are actively changing from the inside out. And so my whole point of this is that you couldn't have avoided this if you tried. All of us are born into this really dense energy with, quote, 96 laws influencing us, leading to disconnection from God, misalignment, poor health, distraction, addiction, cynicism, programming, getting caught up in polarity, stuck in chaos, and autopilot. And the very like embodiment of this distortion is the fact that the natural frequency, like the natural hum of Earth herself and of the cosmos, is 432 hertz. That is the natural C scale. That is how energy is descending from source through the octaves in 432 hertz. That is a beautiful frequency that attunes Mother Nature. Bees hum at this frequency. All of nature hums at this frequency. Humans are like buzzing at this frequency as well. But in the 1800s and then again in like the mid 1900s, they changed the standard music note from 432, which is natural, to 440 hertz, which is distorted. It is unnatural. And that became the new standard. And all mainstream music is based in 440 hertz so that it is slightly irritating your aura, slightly irritating your essence and your soul, making you more easily programmed. And it's like harder for you to wake up when you're in this slight distortion. Okay, so That's the distorted rhythm. All of us know that the world is distorted. All of us know that the world is freaking insane, okay? But here's the thing, when you come into alignment, none of that will affect you anymore because you are literally shaking yourself out of those low, dense frequency energies. Like you're shaking yourself out of those 96 laws, which is a lot of laws to be imprinting upon you. And you're moving into a higher octave as you're coming into alignment. You're freeing yourself of the distortion and you're starting to tune back into the rhythmic symphony of God's true creation. So as you come into alignment, you are starting to hear the music again, and your body is like becoming music again. Okay, so all of us are having an awakening right now. This is the Great Awakening. Every ancient prophecy and like ancient religion and esoteric system and mystical system is pointing to this exact moment in time as the great reset, the great awakening. You know it. If you're tuning in, if you're listening to this, you already know that. I'm sure you're already going through your awakening or you've had multiple awakenings, okay? But I just want to map out what happens with our awakening because it is this shock of awareness where you literally can't deny the truth anymore. You can't be blind anymore. Like your blinders get ripped off and you will never place them back on again. Once you see, you can't go back to pretending you can't see. Okay? And then it's a divine spark that ignites within. It's not anything coming from the outside. It's always coming from within. No matter how imprinted or conditioned you are in the distorted rhythm, you will never lose that divine spark within. And there's going to be multiple times throughout your life where it's going to try to get like reignited, like God and the universe. It's going to try to ignite that spark multiple times until you finally like agree, like, all right, let's do this. Let's freaking go. Okay. Because now you're entering the hero's journey. Like the moment that you agree with God, all right, let's go. I'm on board. Let's get it. I'm down. You're now on the hero's journey. Okay, this is sudden clarity, insight, revelation, surge of pranic energy to make changes. So now you're the attention currents of your mind turn inwards and upwards back to source. You receive more pranic energy so that you actually have the desire and the urge to fix your life and to heal yourself and to heal your body. Okay, so you're gonna have more energy. You shake off that layer of being lethargic. Okay, and then you start to question literally everything, all of your conditioning. You start to question your own core beliefs. You see how deeply conditioned you are by your own core beliefs. And this is when you start to make those daily micro shifts in your health, habits, routine, and self-care. And this is what my program, my method of Align lays out for you exactly how to do it step by step. It is proven. Within my own life, I had to live it so that I could create this method, but I have helped facilitate transformation in now hundreds and hundreds of people. And it is my duty to present this to you. And as I am teaching this, I'm also self-actualizing my own design. So that's pretty cool. So here's like, I just wanted to show these tarot cards because I think this was a cool way to physically show what the awakening is. It is this leap of faith. Okay, you decide with God, like, okay, I'm at point 0 out of 9 on the hero's journey. Let's do it. I'm taking a leap of faith. I'm going to leave behind everything I thought I knew, everything I thought I have created, leave behind my old world, my old beliefs, and I'm gonna just try to live in a new light now. Okay, so you're taking a leap of faith, but then inevitably there is going to be a shattering. Like something's gonna happen that rocks you to your very core, where it starts to break away those old like hooks of limitation and outdated beliefs that you didn't even know were there because they're so buried deep within your subconscious. And the only way to bring those up to the surface is through something excruciatingly painful. Unfortunately, this is called a shock. Okay, so you're going to get shocked. And then you have to just surrender and you have to admit, like, to God, like, okay, I really don't know what I'm doing, but I'm willing to try and be present throughout this entire process. And then you start to feel your inner calling. You start to get your higher calling and you start to see the path ahead more clearly. You start to follow your gifts and your passions. And then it's through your aligned will, your discipline, your devotion that you begin aligning with your higher self. So here's the method, okay? In that last slide, I just showed the Fool card, which is the 0 card in the tarot deck, which is an archetype of like a new beginning. And then the next card, number 1, is the Magician. And the Magician is starting off its journey having mastered the elements, okay? On the tarot card, the Magician, we see that there is the Pentacles, the Cups, the Sword, and the Wand mastered on the table, and he's holding the white baton in the air, like, let's go, I did it. Okay. So the very first thing you have to do when you're entering the hero's journey and you're entering this beautiful phase of alignment and co-creation and like living how we were supposed to be living, how we were intended to be living, the first thing you have to do is master the elements. Okay. So earth is the suit of pentacles. That is your foundation and your embodiment. The Suit of Cups is water, that's your flow and emotional alchemy. And then the Wands are fire, that is your passion and transformation. And then the Swords are air, that's clarity and higher knowing. So the elements are literally the building block of everything, of every esoteric system, of every mystical system and story and like ancient teaching and teacher. The very core building blocks are always mastering the elements because these represent all parts of your life. And that is exactly what your journey is to do is to master these elements. And it is a spiral. Okay, so you can think about it like every zodiac season, if you want to break it up like each year into thirds, right? Because you have January Capricorn season, or sorry, January Aquarius, that's air. And then we have Pisces, that's water. Then we have Aries, that's fire. And then we have Taurus, that's earth. So the first 4 months of the year represent the four elements, right? And then obviously so on and so forth. So if you start to live in alignment, your awareness starts to become the observer. You start to become the observer and you start to realize that these archetypes exist within you and you start to harness these archetypes to improve your life and to come into alignment. You start to work with these elements as they are showing up. This is like a cyclical way of being. This is the divine feminine way of living. This is in harmony with nature. You're not forcing your alignment, you're not forcing your growth. You are flowing with it, okay? And so the entirety of our natural world is set up for you to flow into mastering the elements, and it is this beautiful spiral. And then you will come into mastery when you devote yourself to it. And this is what my proven method is. I break down how to master each of these. So let's start with earth, which is our foundation and embodiment. This is our physical vitality. The first thing you should do when you're coming into alignment is take care of your physical body, because like I said, that's like that everything else builds on top of that. Because if you're doing all of this other work and you're still eating like garbage and you're staying up so late and you're scrolling and you're like just eating like shit and still drinking a bunch of alcohol, like none of it, all that progress you're doing emotionally, mentally, and spiritually is going to be wasted. So you need to get your physical health in check. And Ayurveda is the way to do it. So if you're taking notes, this is the time to write. banyanbotanicals.com, Banyan botanicals.com has a free Ayurveda assessment quiz. It's like a 5-10 minute quiz. You just answer questions about your constitution and your lifestyle and like your physical body. And it will show you where you're out of alignment, where you're out of balance, and it will create a whole grocery list for you. Then go ahead and copy and paste that, send it into ChatGPT. Tell ChatGPT, I'm trying to get my health in order. I want to live in alignment with my Ayurveda. These are my results. Help me come up with a grocery list and meal plans and make it easy for yourself. Use AI for that, okay? But then you're going to start to build your rock solid foundation of vitality. And then you need to do a cleanse. You need to do a 9-day liver cleanse. It takes 9 days to completely clear your organs of all the old gunk and buildup and like everything from your old way of being. It takes 9 days to clear all of that away. So it's literally like just fruits and vegetables for 9 days. It's tough, but you can do it. And I have a guidebook in my community. You guys got to join my community. It's called The Initiates. It's over on Circle, where I have free guidebooks to help guide you through all of this step by step. Okay, because I know this can seem really overwhelming. I don't want to overwhelm anyone right now. I just want to teach and lay it out there so that you have all of this information in your awareness. Because I do believe that things come into our awareness when they're exactly meant to come into our awareness. If you're tuning into this right now, trust that this is your next step. You are not behind. Don't be hard on yourself, feeling like, oh shit, this is like so much information. I feel like I'm at the base of a mountain. This feels really overwhelming and like I don't know where to begin. That's why I'm here, y'all. That's why I've already done it multiple times and I have laid it out in this system to make it super like streamlined and really easy for you. Okay, so join my community. It's in the go to my link tree after this and then go check out like free community so that you can have all of that right there because I'm here to guide you. Don't be overwhelmed, okay? We got this. You're perfectly on time. You're not behind. You are literally perfectly on time, okay? So then the next step is our emotional clarity and the way to really heal your emotions is through the gene keys, y'all. I'm telling you, the gene keys is incredible. My computer is resting on the book right now because look how thick it is. It is so beautiful. It builds on top of the human design system. It breaks down the 64 archetypes of the Chinese I Ching that exist within each and every one of us. But you, uniquely you have four gene keys that are your most prominent. So all of these 64 archetypes exist within each and every one of us. You're going to experience it at every stage of your life, you're going to experience these, but you have your unique theme. I call them your codes that you are here to activate in this lifetime. These are your four codes that weave their way into every area of your life. And these are the four gene keys, the four codes that you are here to activate in this lifetime. They are the gifts. These are the God-given gifts. These are your inherent talent and genius, but they're hidden within your ugliest shadows. But when you know this language, then when your shadows rear their ugly head, which they're going to, duh, they're going to, okay? When they rear their ugly head, you don't have to feel bad about it. You don't have to feel like you fall back into an old way of being. Now you're curious about it. Now you're excited about it. You're like, whoa, I'm really being triggered right now. I'm feeling like I need to protect myself and like no one can help me and like I have to do everything by myself. Like why do I feel that way? Why do I feel that way? You dive deeper into it. You start to see like, okay, this is related to a core wound in childhood. This is a tendency that I have when I feel overwhelmed. Then I start to push everyone away. Then I start to do this. Then I start to do that. I'm just using this as an example. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? When these shadows start to rear their head, now you understand that you have to dive all the way into it and remove each layer of that shadow. And this will have it written out for you word by word. You will read your shadow through the lens of the gene keys. Go to genekeys.com, put in your birth information. It will create a PDF for you and spell out your shadows. And you're going to be like, yup, 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 yeah, that's right. That's me. Okay. And you'll see that you couldn't have avoided these shadows even if you tried. Like you were wired to experience this because hidden within that shadow is the most beautiful, precious gift. And the more you do this work and the more you bring your full conscious awareness to it, then you're going to be more in your gift than you are in your shadow, more in your gift than you are in your shadow. And then eventually you're just going to be in your gift. You're going to have transcended the shadow, but that was the integral piece to launching you like quantum leaping into your new way of being, your new life. It is your compass. So fear is your launch pad for transformation, okay? Because on the other side of your ugliest shadow and your ugliest fear is your quantum leap. And without it, we couldn't get there. So emotional mastery unlocks higher frequency of living. Okay, so we've got our physical health, earth, boom, got it. We've got our emotional clarity, that's water, got it. Now we're in our mental freedom. This is air. This is where human design comes in. I don't know how like proficient you guys are in human design. When I found it back in 2020, no one had ever heard of it, and it is definitely starting to gain popularity, which is great. So, what you can do is go just Google like free human design chart or go to, I like this website, jovianarchive.com. That's Jovian archive.com because it's run by the man who created the human design system and his family. And they have a bunch of videos on there for you to like dive deep into it, but put your birth configuration in, get your human design, sit with it and dive into it, okay? Because this will explain exactly how you can free your mind. Because every single one of us has a unique mode of making decisions that are in alignment with uniquely you. And it is never going to be like, let me think my way through this to find out what's best for me, which is like how we're conditioned to believe, right? When you just use your mind and like try to like make a pro and con list and like use logical and practicality thinking about what is like, I'm talking about like huge life decisions. Like, should I move here? Should I take this job? Should I break up with someone? Like, you will never like be able to write it out to get to the bottom of it just using like your practical logical thinking mind. You need to look at your human design and look at what your unique authority is, how you make decisions for uniquely you. For some of us, it's our emotional solar plexus. I'm going to ride the emotions. I'm going to feel super excited about something, and then I'm going to feel not excited about it at all. I'm going to be feel super excited, then not excited. And eventually I will come to this place of clarity and know what is right for me. Or, that's just one way of looking at the emotional solar plexus. That's a whole other deep dive. I go into my deep dive about that on my podcast. Go check it out. But there's the emotional solar plexus for making decisions. There's the sacral center, which is your gut instinct. Like your body will tell you, like, if you're like feeling energized and like literally revved up and like turned on by an idea, like if your friend's like, "Do you want to do this?" and you're starting to feel like, "Whoa, that's lighting me up. I'm excited," then that's your body's way of pointing you in the right direction. But if you feel like constricted or like your stomach's in a knot and you can't explain why, that's your body trying to protect you from doing something that is not of your highest good. The answer will always lie in your body. For some of us, it's the splenic center, which comes in like a lightning bolt of inner knowing and instantaneous intuition. And if you miss it, then you missed it and you can't go back. You have to trust that your instincts right in the moment are guiding you. So as you can see, these are the examples that have nothing to do with your mind. Human design is an amazing way to free your mind because now you can learn how to trust yourself, follow your desires, which will help you co-create the life of your dreams. Okay, so it's your strategy, which is based in your aura type. And you start to live in alignment with your aura type. So, me, for example, as a manifester, I have cyclical energy. I will get bursts of energy and I'll get so much done in a short amount of time, followed by a period of rest where I will not have like as much creative output. I become more introverted and introspective during that time. And so, it's in my best interest to ride my waves and move through life. And then when I make a big decision, I tune in with my emotional solar plexus. What is it for you? Okay, see what your strategy is and see what your authority is. Also, I have a little special offer that if you want, um, I will, if you email me afterwards a testimonial of what you learned in this masterclass and how you liked it or some feedback, then and send me your birth info, then I'll send you a 5-minute voice note of your human design. Okay, it'll be like a 5-minute activation meditation for your unique human design. So, testimonial in exchange for your unique human design. I think that's pretty fun. Okay, and then it's going to help you realize that um, you're living in alignment with your unique decision making, but now you're also living in alignment with sacred strategy, understanding that everything in life is strategy. This is a big lesson I had to learn as a Pisces. I'm not even gonna lie. It was like I used to believe that all I had to do was live in alignment and use my gifts, and that I would magnetize so much money and the right opportunities, and people would just be dying to work with me, and I would just magnetize everyone. I had literally no like business acumen or like sacred strategy at all. I was super delusional about this. That might not land for you, but that was something that was a big like curve I had to work through during these last couple years was like learning that no, everything is a strategy. And this helps you map out your next cycle of co-creation with God in a very strategic way. And we'll get into that later. It's related to the Enneagram. Okay, so then now you're coming into spiritual alignment. This is the wands in tarot, right? This is all about igniting your passion and your purpose. And human design, again, is an amazing way to literally get your life purpose spelled out for you. Okay, it's in your incarnation cross, which is a blueprint of your life's direction. And also look to your life path number for this as well. That's your soul's frequency and your destiny. And now you can embody your highest calling without a shadow of a doubt. Like you already know deep down that this is who you are and this is what you want to offer the world, and that you need to give your gift before you die. And having it spelled out for you is so empowering in this day and age. It helps you just fully, like wholeheartedly accept yourself and your calling. So, and then you start to activate your Merkaba. That is like a whole other rabbit hole I could go down. Again, join my community for teachings about the Merkaba. I go deep into that and I have an activation for that as well. And on my in my community, I also have a section called video activations, which are different like guided meditations and physical energetic movements and activations, literally activations to help you embody all of this that I'm sharing with you. Because this is a lot. I don't want anyone to get caught up in the concepts. Like, knowledge is power. You do need to learn this. You do need to study this and dive into it and allow yourself to be immersed in it. But don't get caught up in your head about it. That's the opposite of what this work is meant to do. It's meant to bring you back into the body so that you can embody this. And that's why when you take my Align course, my self-paced course, within all the teaching, there is a live activation so that you can actually just embody all of this wisdom and knowledge through a live activation and crystallize it within your cells, within your chakras, within your heart and soul. That is a huge piece to this. Okay, so now when you're in alignment, now you can start to co-create with God. And I have a picture of the Enneagram here. If you're live, I'm going to show my phone so that you can see the Enneagram here. So there is this map this is called the face of God. This is literally the map of creation with God because everything as energy is descending from source into the world of form and moving through the octaves, it is following this sacred pattern. So everything in the world of form has been created out of a sacred strategy, out of this sacred pattern. It is a map. Everything is sacred geometry, everything is numbers, everything is math, everything is music. Okay, and so the Enneagram, the esoteric Enneagram, is our map of co-creation. And when you use this consciously, you can bring forth your soul's greatest dream, like whatever your next goal is. Whatever your next goal is for your business or for your life, you're going to put it in the middle of your Enneagram. You see how there's the middle part here? And then you align your will with God because the whole reason you have that desire is because it's a divine desire from God. It's not coming from your mind, it's coming from your soul. That's coming from God. God and your higher self want you to bring this into the world of form. So you enter the esoteric Enneagram, co-creation with God, with your full conscious awareness now that you're in alignment. You say, I'm going to bring forth this huge goal of mine to make X amount of dollars in my business and reach X amount of people. That is my sacred goal. Now you've just entered the hero's journey starting at point zero. Now you're moving to point one, which is where you are applying your willpower. And I really love Mami Yonami. She's an incredible spiritual teacher who really talks about the Enneagram. She refers to this as white magic because this is where you use your willpower. It's like everything within your soul and your everything that you can control by like conjuring up your entire like force of everything behind you, all of that discipline you've just cultivated by learning how to live in alignment, all of that hard work and motivation and perseverance, all of that is like you build and you culminate all of this discipline and you apply it into your willpower, which is this white magic of like, I'm going to do everything in my power to make this goal happen. So you apply it and you do the sacred strategy and you work every single day. You hit your metrics every single day to hit your goals. You keep your boundaries with yourself. You never let yourself down because you have self-trust and self-love now because you're in alignment and you know that what you're doing is beautiful and powerful. So every day you apply your effort and you work your freaking butt off. Okay, this is not magical manifestation. Like it's all just going to land in my lap. Like, no, you work your butt off and you apply your willpower. That's the white magic, right? Then inevitably there is a shock point that is going to come. Remember earlier I was talking about shocks, like shock points. No matter what, the universe is going to do something something's going to happen in your world that is freaking shocking, like something that will rattle you to your very core. For me, it was a miscarriage. It rattled me to my freaking core. It shattered me. It shattered me. But in that moment of absolute like breakdown, my rose-colored glasses flew off my face, and I was realizing how delusional I had been about this project that I was working on, where I was trying to go top down on my project rather than bottom up. Like I was trying to lead before I had served. I was trying to rise as a leader before I had done one-on-one work, serving people individually, transformational journeys, which was a very pivotal part of my journey. And it took something like a miscarriage to literally help me see clearly and help me get back on track and realize like I need to do things the right way. I need to do things one by one, brick by brick. I was trying to leap when what I needed to do is take step by step by step by step. Okay, so that was my shock. So something's going to happen that will shock you, but it's going to redirect you. But you can't give up at that point. You have to take all of that will that you have mustered and then you apply it to get through a shock point. Okay. And then now what's going to happen is your fears are going to start to rear their ugly head because you're going to make it into this new octave. When you make it past a shock point, you're like, boom, you kind of just leveled up. You're like, oh shit, like I will never let bumps in the road impede my momentum. Nothing will ever hold me down again. I will never go back to who I was before my awakening. I will never be depressed again. I will never be anxious again because I understand now that I am like co-creating this reality with God, that everything is quantum physics, that everything is nervous system regulation, and that everything, I'm going to do what is in my power, and I'm going to flow when I need to flow, and I'm going to push when I need to push. You've moved up an octave when you make it through that first shock point. But now, when you want to move up another octave, when you want to move up again, all of your fears are going to start to face, like all of your fears are going to start to rear their ugly head. And this is going to come in different ways. It could come through like conflict with your partner, conflict with family, or just like situations with your family that are really triggering, or another, running into things that like you're facing a lot of frustration because maybe you're still trying to do things the old way and the universe is trying to show you that you need to change and you were not changing. You get the point. This is the line on the bottom of the triangle of the Enneagram that we refer to as black magic, because this is where you understand that whatever is rearing its ugly head during this time is exactly what is holding you. Like, that is the threshold for you to level up again. So you start to see your fears as your ticket to moving up and to leveling up. And all of your fears are revealing where you're still holding on to things that you need to let go of. And you're still holding on to outdated identities, outdated beliefs, outdated habits and patterns that are showing up for you in very uncomfortable and challenging ways. So you don't shy away from it. You dive headfirst into it, and then you use that energy to transmute and again rise up another octave. Okay, so then there comes this point now, which we refer to as red magic. This is where you realize, like, holy shit, like, look how much you have changed. Like, look how much you have grown. First of all, you've come into alignment, you've got your full conscious awareness, you've prioritized your health and your healing, and you've released what needs to be released. You have way better habits now, you've got strategy, you're working hard, you've got your full conscious awareness, you're trying to surf the waves through life. You're flowing when you need to flow and you're pushing when you need to push, right? But there comes this moment right before the biggest breakthrough where you literally move up an entire octave of your life, where you finally integrate all of it, everything you have just learned from this last cycle, everything that you have just faced, the good, the bad, the ugly. You are about to fully integrate it, and you're about to fully cross the threshold and lead yourself across the threshold. Here comes another shock point. Okay, this is when everything is like the very patterns that you are now transcending are going to be mirrored to you by the universe once and for all. And if you're not aware of this, this could be where someone falls off. This could be where someone like throws in the towel and they're like, oh shit, guess I'm just not cut out for this. I thought I had grown. I thought I had gotten over that. I thought I had healed that wound. I thought I healed that bad habit. I thought I healed this. I thought I healed that. why is this happening right now? Why is everything like falling apart? Why is everything getting so challenging? It's like right before you are literally about to transcend all of those lessons from this last cycle and literally become a new human, a new version of yourself. The universe will mirror to you the very patterns that you are now transcending to give you the language and the full conscious awareness to actually make sense of everything you had just been through. So if you were just taking everything in stride and like trying your best and like, still keep it going, keep it moving, fighting towards my goal, fighting towards alignment, fighting towards co-creation and trying to unleash my gifts onto the world. Like if you were just kind of like getting by and just like taking the punches, but maybe not being super introspective and reflective about the entire process, this is the moment where you cannot ignore everything you are transcending, and it's for your integration so that you have the language and the words to literally say like, holy shit, I finally healed that pattern of avoidance that I have had my entire life since I was 8 years old. And I just believed that I was someone who wasn't good at hard things and that I'm not wired that way because I'm a Pisces and I'm a creative and I'm not good at crunching the numbers. I don't have an analytical mind. I'm not good at paperwork, whatever like happened in childhood that created these loops for you that were keeping you in these patterns of limitation that you had been transcending, you had been growing, you had been fixing. But maybe you just needed it to rear its head one last time so that you can finally gain the full language to call it what it is and be like, oh shit, that was a pattern of avoidance that I have had because I made this identity for myself when I was 8 years old that I'm just not someone who's good at those sorts of things, that I'm just not someone who's wired that way. And that's an identity that you are subconsciously holding on to this whole time, not even realizing how it was affecting you in all areas of your life. And now you finally have the language to completely transcend it and release the loops. And then, boom, you lead yourself across the threshold into your higher octave of life. Okay, so now you see that everything is a sacred method, everything is co-creation. This entire process of moving from the distorted rhythm to coming into alignment, to tuning in with the rhythmic symphony of God's true creation, you're really moving from chaos into conscious creation. You're aligning with divine rhythm and strategy. And this entire process of alignment is helping you move confidently through cycles of rest and action. And you stop forcing and pushing things, and you start to really flow with God's timing, and you don't feel like such a huge rush. Like you have a better understanding about what how to have a big goal for yourself, but how to not be delusional or impatient about it. And I forgot to mention that right in that last piece, right when you're like crossing the threshold of that last piece of the Enneagram, moving from point 8 to point 9, you do need to make a sacrifice. And this is something that could be like you give up drinking at this point, you give up smoking weed at this point, you give up eating meat at this point, or you give up like certain habits. Like if you're someone who typically stays up till midnight scrolling on your phone, this is the point where you say, I'm going to bed at 9:30 every single night, no matter what, because I love myself and I am devoted to co-creating with God. Okay, so you're making a sacrifice because now you realize what is truly keeping you limited. And this entire point of alignment is so that you can understand how to remember that you are limitless. Okay. So, um, and everything is like the symphony of creation. So I was talking about this before that I'm obsessed with the rhythmic symphony of creation. This is predicted by the human design and gene key system that by the year 2027, that's our third phase of our threefold awakening sequence, which began in 1987. So 1987 was the harmonic convergence, 2012 is the melodic resonance, and 2027 is the rhythmic symphony. This is when we return to higher awareness. So I truly believe that the moment for you to come into full alignment, to bring your full conscious awareness into coming into alignment with your unique rhythm, it's going to look different for you than your partner, than everyone around you. It's all about all the methods that I laid out for you are ways that you can figure out your unique way of being. So Ayurveda is your unique way of eating that's different from everyone else around you, okay? The gene keys are your unique way of emotional alchemy. Human design is your unique way that your aura moves through life, your unique role in this lifetime, your unique destiny in this lifetime. And all of this is just helping you understand your uniqueness, giving you the language and the tools to uncover your uniqueness, your energetic uniqueness. And this is how you start to tune in with the rhythmic symphony of God's creation. And this is how we are creating the new earth every single day. This is the new earth rhythm. When more of us are tuned in with the rhythmic symphony of creation, then we are, tuned by the distorted rhythm. So trust that you are finding this now for a reason. Trust that this is in your awareness now for a reason. You are not behind. Do not be overwhelmed by all of this information. Everything, I've got you. I've got a perfect, I've just got it laid out in a way that is very straightforward and easy to digest, easy to take in. You can go at your own pace and apply this very strategically in alignment with your unique rhythm. Okay, so go to my website, New Earth Rhythm, or click the link in my link tree so that you can join the community. There's the free community, which has all this info in there. So that's a good place to start. And then, like I said, if you send me a testimonial about this masterclass, then in exchange, I'll create a 5-minute voice note recording of your unique human design. I'll tell you what I'm seeing and I'll feel in intuitively to what you need to know right now. And I'll send you a message. My clients love when I do that. So that would be like a fun little exchange. Okay, so that was a lot of info. And let's end now with this integration guided meditation. And I'm going to share my music. I just realized Rose is on. Hi, Rosie.
Hi.
So hyped. Rose and I, we taught together in Thailand, the same school in Thailand, like 8 years ago. And that
Insane.
was the best time ever.
Yeah. Wild. Miss you, girl.
Oh, I miss it. And now our students are older in their 20s and they're like real humans living their best lives. And they were just little kids before.
I just saw one of them and went camping with Alexis.
You just saw Alexis?
Yeah, she's touring around with golf, and I just saw her and we went
That
camping on
is
the
so
boat.
beautiful. Oh my God, I gotta hear about that. I'm gonna message you after this.
Okay, cool.
All right, let's all take a deep breath. And when you're breathing in through your nose, make sure you don't send the air up. Like, don't visualize the air going up. Send it back and down for a really deep belly breath. This is something that I wish I'd known my whole life. So go ahead and take the deepest breath you have had all day. Back and down. All right, let's take another deep breath. And again, one more big deep breath. And on the exhale, just move your head, your spine. Start to do a body scan, feeling if there's anything tense or painful. And just be aware of it and start to send your conscious awareness to those areas. Maybe place your hands on the part of your body that's feeling a little tight. And breathe. All right, on this next breath, let's breathe all the way in, and then on that exhale, start to send your roots down. Send your roots down your womb or your sacral and your root chakra. chakra and start to send them down your legs. So let's take in a deep breath. And on that exhale, just send your roots down. See the roots coming down past your hips, past your legs, and your knees. Down past your ankles. Send a root out of each toe, out of the bottom of your foot. And just send your roots all the way down into the heart of the earth. And just breathe. Send them down through the layers, through the rock and the sediment. Past the energetic crystalline grid of the earth, into the heart of the earth, until you feel yourself get hooked up like an anchor. Feel your roots wrap around the crystalline heart of the earth. Find your personal crystal. And breathe. Send your breath all the way down into that crystalline heart of the earth. And then I want you to actually lean back a little bit. I want you to just feel yourself being held by earth. Feel the essence of earth as this beautiful grandmother. This loving energy, loving grandmother tenderness holding you. And smile into that and just feel yourself being held by earth. So many of us are always leaning forward into life or trying to run into life and force and push, the hustle, the grind. It's right now, just find your center. Lean back. Feel yourself leaning back and just find that still point. Find that still point. Pull up that stillness from earth. And pull that stillness, that steadiness, all the way up your roots with this next big breath. Pull it all the way up. The foundation. And let it land in your heart and place your hands on your heart. You can find your own rhythm, your own sway. Allow your heartbeat to match up perfectly with Earth's heartbeats. Come into full resonance. Allow yourself to quiet the noise, the chaos, polarity, the injustices. Just let it fall away as you find yourself becoming this still point. going to activate what's called the earth buttons in energy work. It's when you place one hand on your womb or on your pubic bone and place the other hand at your chin. And this is called polarizing. I want you to just breathe in deeply and feel yourself getting this alignment in your spine, this stillness and this alignment. This is a powerful pose that I want you guys to have in your toolbox moving forward. You can lean back in your chair and cross one ankle over the other. Cross your arms across your chest like this, and then place your hands under your armpits. And then place your tongue on the roof of your mouth and just breathe. This is the most relaxing pose. It instantly quiets the mind. It removes any heaviness. If you have emotional distress or mental distress or overthinking, or even if you wake up in the middle of the night and you can't fall back asleep, you want to activate this pose. You're activating the transverse currents that wrap around you like a coiled snake. Go ahead and hold this pose and just feel yourself becoming the still point amongst the chaos.
আমি ওই কারণে বন্ধুকে মরি কবরে শুয়াই না তোমার দিল কি দয়া হয় না রে খোদা দিল কি দয়া হয় না
Supposed to be. Everything had to unfold exactly as it has unfolded for a higher purpose. That you can shift everything in an instant. Okay, and everything shifts now. It is the devotion to stay in the present moment, to take each moment in stride, to allow your awareness to ride on top of the waves of life, and to always remember to be the still point. Then when everything arises, like your triggers or unforeseen circumstances or challenges, you have your rock solid foundation of alignment to never sway you off your track. You always have these tools and resources and your inner trust and your still point within to navigate every situation in the highest frequency with your highest awareness. And everything we covered will help you do so. It will help you maintain that rock solid foundation. Ayurveda, gene keys, human design, the Enneagram. These are sacred tools, sacred strategies, and I would love to help guide you guys through this. Join our community. We have our free community over on Circle. My link is in the bio for that, so you can join, have access to those free resources, those guidebooks, so everything's laid out for you. And then when you're ready, you take that first step of alignment, the self-paced course. The first 50 people who join, it's just $50. Just $50 for the first 50 people of part of the founding members, because I'm just launching my circle community right now. I'm so excited because it's like exactly what I needed. It's everything and everyone in one place, everyone on my TikTok, on my Instagram, Discord, newsletter, like everyone in one place, everything in one place. So I want to blow it up. I want to get everyone over there. So first 50 members, that's just $50, and then that's locked in for life. And then after that, it goes up to 100. And then after the next 100 people join, it's going to go up again. So $50 for the first 50 people. All that info is in the bio, and I'm going to send you guys an email with all of that information. And then if you want to send me a testimonial about what you learned in this masterclass, or how it was, or some feedback, then in exchange, I'll give you a 5-minute voice note of your human design, like a mini activation, ultra personalized guided meditation. Okay, so send me an email with that testimonial or reflection and with your birth info, and then I can get that over to you. Okay, so I'm launching the self-paced course Align next week. I'm gonna have all the info for that so that you can be one of those first 50 people and join for just $50. Thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you for tuning in live. Y'all are awesome. I'm gonna give you guys a chance for Q&A if you have any questions for now. And I definitely want to invite you guys to my community, because that's where I have all my live event updates and everything like that. I do free events every now and then, so join the community so you always have updates for that. Oh, Rachel said that was awesome. Thank you. Thank you, Rachel. Rose, that meditation was powerful. Thank you so much. And in my course, I have 45-minute to an hour activations to embody all of this juiciness that we cover in the teaching. So all my activations are on the Circle community, so you can check that out. All right, and I'll give you guys, if you have any questions, we can stay on for another minute, and feel free to reach out to me via email or DM if you have any questions. Thanks, Rose. Love you. Love you guys so much. Looking forward to the resources in the email. Yeah, email replay will come with all of the resources and all the info so we can all connect over at Circle. All right, you guys have a beautiful day. Sending you so much love. Thank you so much. Bye for now.